Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Print 3D channel. Today's March 28th, and that means day 87 of the 3DP 365 project. And on today's episode, we continue printing out parts for the OpenRC F1 project, so stick around. Hey everybody, welcome back, and thank you for joining me here for day 87 of the 3DP 365 project. We're still printing out parts for that awesome OpenRC F1 project. And if you want to get caught up on the episodes, check out this cool playlist I've created that'll get you caught up on all the prints we've done so far. But for today's episode, we printed out the rear wing model, and this guy turned out really good, and I'm really happy with the results. But the first thing we need to do is head over to Thingiverse, and I'll show you where to download these models. Then we'll tab over to Simplify 3D and I'll show you my settings for the print. Then we'll meet back here at the workbench and we'll talk about the print. Alright folks, here we are back at Thingiverse for the OpenRC F1 project. And on today's episode we printed out this rear wing. And I think this is a super important piece. Here, I'll show you what it looks like here. And this is part of the 2017 updates because Daniel did make it a little bit wider on the back of the model, so he created a new wing. So this is the rear wing. So let's head over to Simplify 3D and I'll show you my settings for the print. Okay, so here we are in Simplify 3D and I've opened up my factory file, and I did create a factory file for every single part I'm printing. And that's really easy to do. You can just go under File, Save Factory File. And that'll save your factory file with all your settings and all your custom support and everything inside. But I generated some custom support for the back part here, and I did generate automatic support for this part here. So either way, let me show you my process setting and let me show you something interesting I found out. So under process settings, if we go to layer height, we used our primary layer height would be 2.2 millimeters as always, 3 top and 3 bottom solid layers, and 2 perimeters. Now in my previous videos you saw that I had 3 perimeters in here. Now let me show you something real quick before we go and show you my rest of my settings. It looks like the model can only make 2 perimeters. So we have that set for 2. If we zoom in here onto the edge of the model, you can see that there really is only room for 2 perimeters. You can't do any more than that. But if we go under the process settings and under layer and perimeters and set this for 3, because maybe you want 3 perimeters there, you want that to be a little bit thicker, Simplify 3D is going to add time for something it cannot do. So now we're at 3 hours and 12 minutes. But there's no room here for 3 perimeters. And if we dial back through the model, there's no room anywhere for 3 perimeters. Even in this centerpiece here, it's still only doing 2 perimeters and then it's doing infill. So, is this a bug in Simplify 3D? If you do large scale models that only have 2 walls and you add 3 in, does Simplify 3D calculate out 3 walls into the print time even though it can only do 2? It's a very interesting bug. So let's exit out of here and go back to my process settings. And we'll move this back down to 2, and I'll save my setting because it's important that you save your settings, because we can only do 2 perimeters. So moving on, we did run a brim by entering 0 in the skirt offset at 4 outlines. For infill, I only used 20% for this model, and I did generate some custom support. For temperature, this is MatterHackers PRO PLA, so I'm using a single temperature throughout the print of 208, and I have my 3-stage cooling system set up. Under speed, we ran this out at 45 millimeters per second. So again, let's hit OK, and let's hit Prepare to Print, and I'll show you how it's sliced. So once again, these walls are only 2 perimeters thick, and we have a 3-hour print time. And you saw that if I tried to do 3 perimeters, it would add 12 minutes of print time for something that wasn't actually printing. So I think it's a bit of a bug in Simplify 3D. But anyway, let's play this through so you can see how it prints. And I'll show you why I added this custom support here. It's obvious back here because we have a bit of an air print. But here, I just wanted to make sure the vanes on this rear wing had some support material because those are some pretty long arches to cross. As you can see here, it's going to build a lot of material down there and it needed support there. If I pause this, this will be easier to slide this and show you. And on this section here, if we zoom in, you can see it does 2 perimeters, but no infill in that bottom layer. So without that support material, I think this would droop down and look terrible. So if we add another layer here, it starts to do infill. So anyway, that's why I added that custom support there. So let's head over back to the workbench and let's talk about the print. All right, so you saw my settings in Simplify 3D, and here is our finished wing model. And this turned out awesome. I am really happy with the results of this. And I'll put some close-ups in at the end like I always do. But this turned out really great. We did use some support material underneath here to make sure this was supported on both of these little wings. And we did use a little bit of support material in the back here, and it is a little bit rough. But I can take a little bit of a rotary tool and smooth all this out. So I'm not going to reprint it for just that. And these are the attachment pieces, so they're still really strong. Because this is MatterHackers PRO PLA, and this is some really good filament. And my gMax did such a good job of capturing all the detail of these little wing areas here. And especially on these sides, it really did a good job on this print. And I'm really happy with this. So we're probably going to move on and print the front wing next. Well, that about wraps it up for day 87 of the 3DP 365 project. I hope everybody's following along and building their own open RC F1 car too. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and share those videos, and I'll see you tomorrow.